Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So have you ever heard the phrase, love like you've never been hurt? Let me tell you what that means. What it doesn't mean is, it doesn't mean to be a sucker. You're allowed to learn lessons from experiences and to use that knowledge to guide you as you go forward. But when you say the phrase love like you've never been hurt, what that means is you check your baggage at the door. You don't bring your pain and your hurt, your anger, your frustration, your dissatisfaction, your negativity from a past relationship that you had with somebody else. You don't bring those emotions and those issues into the next relationship. It's not fair to that new person. That new person is not the last person. It's good to give people the benefit of the doubt. You would want that. How frustrating is it if you're in a relationship with somebody and they are treating you like you're their shitty ex? And you got to constantly remind them, look, I'm not that motherfucker. I'm not that person. I don't do that. You just chose wrong. Yeah, you were in a relationship with some total shithead motherfucker, somebody who was awful. He was an awful person. But that's not me. I'm not that motherfucker. Some of you may have been there before. It's important for us not to do this to others. Relationships have a really easy way of scarring us. We're such emotional creatures. When someone lies to us or does something wrong to us, or we just have generally a shitty relationship with them, even if it's just based on arguing and bickering. Some people, there's nothing really major that happened. They just bickered the whole time and it was just friction the whole time. We can look at that stuff as, it really affects us. We never forget that shit as long as we live. But it's important to go through a process of forgiveness, a process of owning up to our own role in things. We're not always the victim. Sometimes we're an active participant. It doesn't mean that you let people who burned you off the hook. It doesn't mean that if somebody was really abusive to you in a past relationship that now you're just saying, oh, well, it's cool, like you're going to give them a pass to do that in the future. It just means you're not going to drink that poison every day. Holding on to anger and resentment and bitterness and negativity towards other people from our past is just like drinking a little bit of poison every day. Every day when you wake up, you're going to drink just a little bit. Not enough to kill you, just enough to fuck with your brain. You wouldn't do that, but that's what we're doing when we hold on to this baggage with other people. Because if you have a lot of baggage and you try your best to, with a new relationship, to not bring that in the door, oh, trust me, it's going to start seeping in because you got it. It's yours. It's going to follow you. What you resist persists. So the only way to not have any demons is to face them. When you face your demons, then you can defeat them. Then they go away. So you have to be able to give yourself some time in between relationships to mull some of this shit over and to work on the issues, even if it was just simply, I chose wrong. I guess I'm a terrible matchmaker. I thought I was such a good matchmaker. I thought I knew what I wanted. Maybe you need to reevaluate what it is that you want in a person. Maybe you don't like a person you list off of the few good things that you can think of when someone says, well, what's your ideal mate? Maybe those aren't your ideal traits. Think about that shit. Think about your own role. Think about your own flaws. After each relationship, it shouldn't break you down. It should build you up. You should use that as an experience, a learning experience, a chance to make yourself better, a chance to choose better on the next one. This is all just practice. All those shitty relationships you had were practice for the right one. It's important to be able to realize that not everybody's perfect. That you're not perfect and other people aren't perfect. We don't put people on pedestals. A lot of people, that's an easy lesson for a lot of people. But it's also important to not make the past out to be more than it was. One of the ways we do that is we may have put somebody up on a pedestal to begin with, and then they didn't live up to our fantasy. And then when that, when that fantasy shattered because they weren't who we made them out to be to begin with, we blame them. We need to realize that people aren't, always what we make them out to be. They're just who they are. People are just who they are. And people are imperfect. There's nobody that's perfect. There's no fairy tale Walt Disney relationships. Everybody has some sort of flaws. And I know I've done this in the past, and I had beat myself up over a relationship that I had with a woman. We got engaged, and I thought that she was my soulmate. You heard that term before? I thought that she was my dream girl. People talk about that shit too. That's just putting someone on a pedestal. What it was just another relationship. And instead of really learning from that relationship right after we broke up, I was devastated. And I told myself, I'm never going to be this hurt again. I'm never going to allow someone to do what she did to me ever again. And I put up all these walls. So then to get to me was all of a sudden like going through a goddamn maze. These are walls I built myself because of my own fear, my own anger, my own resentment, my own hurt. It all boils down to. And it was left unchecked, and I brought that in to other relationships. It's not fair to do to other people, just as much as it's not fair when it happens to us. We can recognize it much more easier when it's happening to us. We think that we're the shit. A lot of us think that we're such great people. But when we do it to other people, when we bring our baggage from old relationships into new relationships with other people, it's a surefire recipe for disaster. Relationships like that never last. And you'll never find somebody to settle down with, if that's what your goal is, or a relationship that you consider to be, quote unquote, a perfect relationship. You'll never find that. As long as you're bringing that baggage with you, as long as you're carrying them suitcases with you into every new relationship, thinking that well, this is just who I am. You have to accept me for who I am. We all say that. Nobody has to accept you for who you are. It's your job to continually evolve and to grow forward, to do personal growth work on yourself. So you're not bringing all this negativity from the past. Somebody who's lost in the past and never learns their lesson is just a time bomb waiting to tick off, waiting to blow up. That's a toxic person. That's the definition of toxic. So it's all just something to marinate on. Think about what this means. Love like you've never been hurt. Thanks for watching.